Hey guys, how's it going? It's Calvin Rab. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the extra $600 that have been added to unemployment. So when the CARES Act was passed, part of that was a $600 bump in unemployment. Now that is set to end on July 31st. And now the debate is really raging of, is that the end or is it going to be extended? So in this video, I'm going to first go over the debate behind it, who kind of stands on each side. So I'll talk about that briefly, the arguments on each side. And then I'm going to close it out by talking about 3 ways in which that $600 a week, that bump on unemployment, could stay. And 3 different, really the biggest things that are being talked about, and just what could happen, how it could stay, or how it could be changed in some way. So this is kind of what we know now, a status update of the current situation on that extra $600 a week. So let's get into it. And if you're new here, my name is Calvin Rab. I make videos all about economics and personal finance. So if you're interested in anything like that, I would love it if you would subscribe. Alright, so briefly I want to go over the debate behind it, and as is a lot of issues here in the United States, it is split pretty much on party lines. So the Democrats want to extend it. They are arguing that this is a lifeline. There are still millions and millions of people that are unemployed, and after July 31st, there will still be millions and millions of people that are unemployed, and they are arguing that this is a lifeline for many, many different families that are out there, and without it, they'd be very, very lost. So that's the one side. And then on the Republican side, they're arguing that this incentivizes people not to go back to work because this extra $600 a week bump has actually resulted in a lot of people making more than they already did at their job. So they're using that as an argument. Also, about a week or 2 ago, we had the jobs report, and about 2.5 million more jobs were added to the economy. So they're just kind of looking at that and saying that we're now on the rise. So extending this isn't necessarily needed, because they think the bulk of the issue as far as unemployment and coronavirus is concerned is kind of already on the tail end of it, and that we're going to be going back up. So that is a brief explanation of the debate, and I now want to go over 3 different proposals that are being talked about. One of them I find pretty interesting. I'll discuss which one that is when I get to it. But 3 different ways that this $600 could either continue or change in some way, but at least still be there after July 31st. So this is what the status is of all of these 3 proposals now, so let's get into it. The first way that this $600 a week could be here to stay is through the HEROES Act. Now, I made a whole other video about the HEROES Act. I talked about the stimulus check that it would add on top of that, along with other things that go into the HEROES Act. But as far as how it would change this $600 a week is that it really wouldn't, but it would extend it. So the HEROES Act would extend it up to January of 2021. Now, that is a long time with hundreds of millions of dollars of kind of consequence up in the air that would be paid out to Americans should this actually be passed. Now, as far as the status of it, the HEROES Act was passed by the House. However, it is important to know that Senate Republicans are essentially just saying there's no way they're going to vote on it or anything like that, because obviously they're against it, and Mitch McConnell said that is really much so against it and just saying it wouldn't happen. So if I had to guess, I don't think that's going to be passed. Maybe parts of it could be passed, but from what I'm seeing right now, it's not looking like that. But the HEROES Act is very important to know and to keep updated with it, and it is a way that that extension could go through January 2021, or up to January 2021. The second way that this $600 a week could stay, at least in some form, is through the Worker Relief and Security Act. So this one's interesting because it's not guaranteeing you $600 a week, keep going after July 31st, but rather it's going to be different for different states. Meaning what this would do is, depending on your state's unemployment rate, you would then receive a different amount. So someone that lives in a state with very high unemployment would likely receive more benefits than someone who doesn't. And the goal of this is just to try to make it so that it's kind of fair in such a way that, if there's a high unemployment rate, there probably aren't that many jobs that are out there. And this is just trying to help people that live in states where coronavirus is still running rampant, where, businesses are still shut down, and then also trying to set up rules in such a way that it helps everyone from them all the way to, states where more businesses are open. It has to do with the accessibility of jobs. And this one also calls for, as long as states are still in a state of emergency, a lockdown quarantine like thing, then you will still be getting the $600. But as soon as any of those states of emergency are lifted, then that sliding scale of benefits starts. The third way that this $600 week could change a little bit, this doesn't necessarily mean an extension, but it is a change, so I felt it's important to talk about, and that is known as the return to work bonus. Now, this is something that I find interesting because it actually had some Republicans behind it. So when I said that I find one of them most interesting, this is the one, because it has Republicans on the side of changing the $600 per week. So what this one's calling for is a bonus in the amount that you get, when you go back to work. So maybe it's one-time payment or maybe it's weekly. There's different debates and different states are going to do different things should this be passed or should this plan kind of go into action. But this was brought forth by Rob Portman, who came up with the idea with a $450 weekly bonus for someone that goes off of unemployment during this up until July 31st. Now, the reason for this and his understanding can be thought of and understood through the fact that, remember I said Republicans are arguing that it is not, this $600 week is incentivizing people not to work. That is what Rob Portman's trying to fight and trying to create an incentive for people to go back to work. So if you can work and get $450 a week, then there is a definite incentive to go back to work before July 31st. And I believe his plan would run out at July 31st at the same time the other payment does. Now, a few states have already adapted this. I know Idaho is at least in the works of getting one-time bonuses for people that do return to work. I believe, I don't know exactly where it is. I know I was reading all about it, trying to figure out exactly where it is. I think they're still finalizing the proposal, but it's gone a lot further than a lot of other states. And what they are kind of proposing is a $1,500 one-time payment if you go back to work full-time, and a $750 payment if you go back part-time. So these are just incentives to get people to go back to work, and that's what Idaho's done. And out of all of them, I think this is what we could start to see, but it is nearing that July 31st date, so it may be a little too short for something to happen, but it's all about that fight of, are you being incentivized to go back to work? And all in all, we don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, July 31st will come and pass, and we don't know what the answer will be. $600 a week could go. You're still getting the unemployment, So if you were getting $300 a week, you would have then be getting $900, but now you'd be getting $300. So it's not going to zero, but you will definitely take a drastic hit in that unemployment. So this is all things that are all still being talked about, and I now kind of want to turn it to you. What do you think will happen to this $600 a week? Do you think it will end July 31st and be no more, or do you think it will adapt and change in some way? I would love it if you would let me know in the comments below. I'll be going through there, I'll be talking to you guys, because this is a very important topic to talk about. So this video is more of a status update. I do have other videos about stimulus checks, what's the status of getting $2,000 per month stimulus check, and I have a couple other coronavirus related videos. I have a whole playlist dedicated to coronavirus that talks about financial sides of it, and then also just general life with coronavirus that you may want to check out as well. So thank you so much for watching. That will wrap it up. I hope you learned something out of this, and if you did, I would love it if you would hit the like, or if you would subscribe, I would love that even more. You can always catch all my videos. I've got a lot of great videos coming at you this summer that I'm really excited to make. So thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And as always, my name is Calvin Rabb, and I'll see you soon. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. So I'm going to move to the corner of your screen here. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you are going to see my most recent video. And if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see a video that YouTube and I each think that you would like. And if you haven't yet, you can hit my face right here and subscribe. As always, my name is Calvin Rabb, and I'll see you soon.